America is under siege, not just from foreign enemies, but from within our own borders. Right now, ICE agents are being attacked in the streets of American cities while Russia threatens to turn those cities into dust. Guys, President Trump he's on high alert right now. He has issued a bold 50-day ultimatum to end the war in Ukraine or face total economic annihilation. But just 48 hours later, Putin responded with something far more terrifying: a nuclear preemptive strike warning. Now, guys, while missiles are being moved overseas, back home, Democrat mayors are throwing gasoline on fire. Guys, they're refusing to cooperate with ICE, unmasking federal agents and fanning the flames of chaos as our border agents are being ambushed, hospitalized, and hunted. You are about to see the full story right now. How Tom Homan's warnings of bloodshed came true, and why ICE agents are bleeding in the streets, and how all of this connects to what Putin just threatened and what President Trump is planning next. This is bigger than politics. This is about survival. This is about truth. And in the next couple of minutes, you're going to be forced to choose a side. So later in this video, I'm going to show you what President Trump is doing behind the scenes with NATO that the mainstream media refuses to report. You're also going to hear how over 300,000 missing migrant children became a forgotten tragedy under Biden, and how Trump's DHS is quietly rescuing them right now. So stick with me to the end, guys, because I want to go ahead and break down exactly what happens if Putin actually launches these nukes. The warnings are real, the targets are known, and the stakes, let's just say that they've never been higher. So if you're feeling like something's just not right in this country, you're not alone. And after what you're about to hear, you're never going to see America or its enemies the same way again. If you appreciate the news updates, hit the like button and subscribe. I really appreciate your support, guys. Thanks. So let's go ahead and get into this, because what's happening right now to ICE agents in our streets and what Russia is preparing on the global stage, this could change everything. So I'm going to just go ahead and tell you now, this is not the America you grew up in, because right now this country is being attacked from both directions, one foreign and one domestic. Now, on the world stage, Vladimir Putin is threatening nuclear war. And I mean that literally, guys, a preemptive strike launched at the West with the United States in the crosshairs. And at the same time, inside our own cities, ICE agents are being dragged, beaten, hospitalized, not by foreign invaders, but by violent mobs, emboldened by the rhetoric of Democrat mayors who are actively turning their backs on law enforcement. So ask yourself, if America's burning from both ends, who's going to put out the fire? So in just a second, I want to show you how close Putin has moved to pressing the nuclear button. But first, we need to look at how our enemies abroad are watching our enemies at home destroy us from within. Just 48 hours after President Trump issued his bold peace ultimatum demanding that Russia reach a ceasefire in 50 days or face crippling 100% tariffs, Putin's regime fired back. But they didn't respond with diplomacy. They responded with a nuclear threat. Russia's deputy security chief, Dmitry Medvedev, he warned that if the United States continues supplying Ukraine with long-range missile systems, they may launch a preemptive nuclear strike. And Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov, he doubled down, reminding the world that Russia's nuclear doctrine was updated in late 2024, lowering the threshold for a strike. And now they say any Ukrainian attack backed by the U.S. is seen as a joint nuclear state attack. That means America is now officially considered a nuclear combatant, even if we never fired a shot. So is Putin bluffing, or is this Cold War II about to go hot? Well, I want to go ahead and break down that information here shortly. But first, let's look at the chaos that's erupting on our streets right here, right now, where ICE agents, our last line of defense, are being essentially ambushed by mobs while Democrat leaders are looking the other way. But first, Jamie from Texas, she wasn't expecting a whole lot. She said, look, I figured I would call and maybe save a few bucks. That's what she said. But after speaking with Chapter, she walked away with a plan that's now saving her $600 a year without losing any of the benefits that she needed. It was quick, it was free, and it made a real difference. Guys, I partnered with Chapter because they're making sure that people just like Jamie, people like you, don't fall through the cracks. You don't owe them anything to find out if they can help you save some money. And that's what I love about it. So find out how much you could be saving right here, right now, today. Give our friends a chapter call right now. Phone number's down below, 909-563-8279, or visit them on the web at askchapter.org/Ron. One conversation could change everything for you and for your family. Now, while Putin is rattling the nuclear saber, President Donald J. Trump is doing what his predecessor never could. He's playing 4D chess. Now, under Biden, we saw blank checks to the Ukraine, reckless spending, zero leverage. But under Trump, we're seeing leverage without surrender, strategy without sacrifice, and strength without stupidity. Now, here's how Trump is sending advanced U.S. weaponry to NATO allies, but Europe is footing the bill. American workers build it. European nations pay for it. Ukraine receives it. That's called America First foreign policy, and it's already working. And he didn't stop there. Trump drew a hard line in the sand, 50 days to negotiate peace, or Russia faces 100% tariffs on oil, steel, and strategic exports. These aren't just empty words, guys. Trump's administration has already rerouted Patriot missile systems already promised to Switzerland and is prioritizing Ukraine instead. So ask yourself if Trump is fighting for peace abroad, who's fighting for peace at home? Now, just a second, I want to show you guys the chilling numbers of missing migrant children that Biden never accounted for. But right now, I want to talk about what's happening to our ICE agents in the streets of America. So while President Trump's holding the line overseas, our own law enforcement officers, our ICE agents, they're being hunted like criminals. ICE assaults are up 830% compared to a year ago. That's not a typo, guys. That is a war zone, okay? Right here in our own country. In Southern California, a mob attacked ICE agents with rocks during a legal operation to serve a warrant. One agent was injured so badly he ended up in the hospital. In Oklahoma, an illegal alien from Honduras dragged an ICE officer nearly a block with his car. Now think about that. A federal agent bleeding in the streets because he tried to do his job. These agents, they're supposed to protect us, but they're the ones that are needing the protection right now. And while they're bleeding, Democrat mayors are calling to unmask them. So what do you call it when our own leaders protect violent mobs, but not the men and the women that are defending our border? What do you call that? Anyway, as ICE agents are being dragged through the streets, you would think every leader in America would be standing behind them, right? But instead, some are doing the unthinkable. Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass just filed a Freedom of Information Act request, not to stop crime, but to unmask ICE agents. You heard that right, guys. She wants their names, their faces, while their lives are already under threat. At the same time, Chicago's Democrat mayor went public declaring the city would not cooperate with ICE, calling them a militarized force. Not a word about violence that ICE agents are facing right now. Not a word about that. Not a word about the Honduran national who dragged one of them down the street for a block with his car. Nothing about those things. ICE fired back with a statement. Our officers wear masks because rhetoric like yours has ramped up threats and assaults against their families. Now, think about that for a moment, okay? Federal agents are being targeted, and elected officials are helping expose them to even more danger. And if you think that's bad, wait until you hear what Tom Homan said would happen next, because he predicted the bloodshed, and now it's here. So Tom Homan, the former acting director of ICE and longtime border czar, issued a warning months ago. If the hateful rhetoric doesn't stop, there will be bloodshed. The media mocked him, the left called him an alarmist, but now he's been proven right. One ICE facility in Texas was ambushed by an armed group. One officer shot in the neck, another man killed trying to firebomb a border patrol station, and still no national outrage. This isn't protest, this is war. And the people waging it are not wearing uniforms. They're hiding behind political office, media, microphones, and activist mobs. And so while all of this stuff is happening, violent gang members like MS-13 they're still roaming our streets, released under Biden's policies, shielded by sanctuary cities, and emboldened by leaders who care more about optics than safety. Tom Homan, he put it bluntly. ICE agents are executing the laws written by Congress. signed by presidents and upheld by federal judges. So if you've got a problem with that, your issue isn't with ICE, it's with the Constitution. Now think about it, guys. Think about what we just covered. Russia is preparing for war, and Democrat leaders are undermining our defenses here at home. So the simple question is, whose side are they really on? Now, let me get straight to this, okay? Antifa rioters, they can throw Molotov cocktails at ICE buildings in Portland while fully masked. No problem, right? No FOIA requests, no press conferences from Democrat mayors. But when ICE officers wear masks to protect their families from doxing, assault, and death threats, suddenly it's a scandal. You see the double standard here. You see the hypocrisy here, right? So Karen Bass of Los Angeles demands their identities. She wants to know who these masked men are, but not a peep about the masked mobs who burned federal buildings or who had thrown bricks at law enforcement. So why is it okay for anarchists to hide their faces, but not the men and women risking their lives to carry out federal law? Where's the legislation to unmask Antifa? Where's the outrage when left-wing agitators assault ICE agents with frozen water bottles and steel pipes? There is none, because to them, chaos is useful and ICE is just in the way. Now, speaking of betrayal, wait until you hear about what the Biden administration left behind. 300,000 migrant children unaccounted for. Trump's team is now doing the job that they refused to do. So you want to talk about real family separation? Let's talk about the 300,000 migrant children who just suddenly vanished under the Biden administration's watch. These were not just border statistics. These were real kids, many of whom were handed over to criminal cartels, used for forced labor or trafficked into underground, all sorts of trade. We'll just leave it at that. So when asked where those kids were, Biden's DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas said he had no idea. He wasn't even looking. But now, under President Trump, that is changing. Trump ordered DHS to track down every missing child, and already hundreds have been rescued from horrific conditions, child labor camps, brothels, cartel stash houses. Tom Homan said it best. Trump made saving these children a top priority. Biden didn't even look. Now, you won't hear this on CNN. You won't read it in the New York Times. But the truth is, it happened. And Trump is cleaning up the mess. So if exposing ICE agents while hiding criminal gangs makes sense to you, then I want you to go ahead and try to justify it in the comments. But if you stand with the law, with the truth, with the children that Biden left behind, I want you to drop a 47 in the comments now. So here's what they don't want you to realize. Here's what's happening at our border, in our streets, in our cities. It's not separate from what's happening overseas. This is not one war. It's two fronts of the same battle. On the one side, you got Putin threatening nuclear war, but on the other side, you got Democrat politicians that are siding with the mobs, exposing ICE agents and protecting criminals. President Trump is doing everything in his power to prevent World War III. He's leveraging diplomacy, enforcing trade pain, and he's putting Europe on the hook, not American taxpayers. But how can we fight foreign enemies when domestic leaders are sabotaging our defenses from the inside? Is this what incompetence? Let me ask you this. Is this just incompetence, or is it something darker? Are we watching a coordinated collapse dressed up as politics? Well, I'll tell you what, guys. One thing is clear. Trump is fighting for a peace abroad, okay? While at the same time, others are igniting violence at home. And what should terrify, that should literally just terrify every single American. So I want to go ahead and break down everything as it stands. I want to call it like it is. No sugarcoating this stuff. The lines have been drawn. And if you're still on the fence, it's time to choose your side. So let me be absolutely clear. While Biden's handlers would let the world burn, President Donald J. Trump, he's standing tall, not for himself, but for you, for our children, for the future of our country. He's protecting our ICE agents. He's confronting nuclear threats with courage, not with weakness. He's rescuing missing children abandoned by a corrupt system. And he's doing it with compassion for the American people and zero tolerance for our enemies. Meanwhile, The people who claim to care about safety, justice, and families, they're the same ones that are unmasking agents. They're empowering the cartels, and they're turning a blind eye to blood in the streets. So here's the final question. If the enemy is foreign, but the betrayal is domestic, what do you call that? Because America is under attack from within and from without. And if you're watching this show right now, you already know where you stand, right? Now, if you support the men and women of ICE, drop a 47 in the comments down below right now. If you believe Trump's fighting for the soul of this country, share this video with someone who needs to wake up. And if you're one of the people who are cheering for the chaos, demanding open borders, or defending Putin's threats, go ahead, say it in the comments right now. We'll see who's really watching. And before you go, YouTube is already suggesting another video that I think you're really going to want to see next. So trust me, it connects directly to everything that we've talked about. Click that video right now before they bury it. Stay alert, guys. Stay vocal. Stay in the fight. God bless you.